Welcome to the This Week in Astrology video forecast. This is episode 80 for March 2017. Thanks so much for joining me. I'm Benjamin Bernstein of astroshaman.com, coming to you from Asheville, North Carolina. I'm an astrologer, shamanic healer, and awakening activator, and it's my pleasure to bring you these monthly astrological forecasts. As I mentioned in the last one for February, I'm now doing these video forecasts monthly. And if you want more detail on the events, then go to my podcast, the audio podcast, This Week in Astrology, which you can get to from my site, astroshaman.com. And there I go into much greater detail, more smaller events on these forecast videos. I'm just doing the larger, bigger events. So what's new in March? It's packed with powerful astrological events. Venus retrograde begins, inviting reflection on relationships, money, and more. 2017's most potent Grand Cross peaks, and three of its core components, a Jupiter-Uranus opposition, a Jupiter-Pluto square, and a Jupiter-Uranus-Pluto T-Square come exact. And let's not forget a Virgo full moon, an Aries new moon, and the spring equinox. Wow! So we'll be talking about all that today. What's old as we move into the month of March, we've got a waxing moon. That Grand Cross with Mars, Vesta, Jupiter, Uranus, and Pluto is continuing through March 8th. Another Grand Cross with Vesta, Jupiter, Uranus, and Pluto continues through April 20th. And the noise you're hearing is my kitties tussling over there. They're giving a little extra audio. And we've got a T-square with Jupiter, Uranus, and Pluto active through May 1st. In addition, Jupiter is retrograde through June 9th. So let's move now to our individual days of the forecast. On Thursday, March 2nd, unto itself a Jupiter-Uranus opposition, Jupiter 22 Libra, Uranus 22 Aries, can spur political revolution, amplify genius, and help take relationships to the next level. But this aspect, in effect through May 1st, is not operating alone. It's part of three hard aspect patterns: a Mars, Vesta, Jupiter, Uranus-Pluto Grand Cross through March 8th, a Grand Cross with Vesta, Jupiter, Uranus, and Pluto through April 20th, and a T-square with Jupiter, Uranus, and Pluto through May 1st. I invite you to follow the links on my forecast blog at astroshaman.com to discover how this opposition is playing out in each of these aspect patterns. On Saturday, March 4th, Venus turns retrograde at 13 degrees Aries and will turn direct again in 6 weeks on April 15th at 27 Pisces. When a planet is retrograde, it's a good time to reflect on its archetypal meanings. Venus represents relationships, creativity, money, and values. While she's retrograde in Aries through April 2nd, reflect on how you're stepping up as a pioneer, leader, warrior, or sexual being in these areas. While she's retrograde in Pisces, April 3rd through April 15th, contemplate how you're integrating divine awareness, intuitive flow, and inspired creativity into these fields of life. If possible, wait until Venus turns direct on April 15th to take significant new action in these areas. But if a situation in one of these areas clearly requires action before then, do what you have to do. On Monday, March 6th, the most important Grand Cross of 2017 comes to a peak. This Grand Cross includes Vesta, Jupiter, Uranus, and Pluto. It started on January 19th and will wrap up on April 20th. What follows is a slightly edited version of my forecast for this Grand Cross that I gave on January 19th. This Grand Cross is powerful for two reasons. It incorporates the revolutionary Jupiter-Uranus-Pluto T-Square, and it lasts for 3 months. I've already written extensively about the Jupiter-Uranus-Pluto T-Square. Here's a brief excerpt from my December 11th interpretation to give you a flavor or reminder of it. The Jupiter-Uranus-Pluto T-Square, which lasts until May 1st, is one of the strongest astrological events of 2017. At its most basic level, Jupiter is rekindling the power of the waning Uranus-Pluto Square. This amplifies the power of revolutionary transformation. Pluto in Capricorn can take a wrecking ball to old structures that have outlived their usefulness, while supporting new structures whose time has come. Pluto normally takes its time, but Uranus in Aries has no patience. It wants these changes yesterday. On a personal level, the square can fuel the acceleration of your own life-affirming changes in all areas. And in this post on my blog, I've got links to all these other aspect patterns that I'm talking about. So what does Vesta add to the party? For starters, she's about honing yourself into a finely tuned instrument like an athlete in training. Once you're skillful enough to be helpful to others, the next step is to devote yourself to a higher cause. Ideally, this focus on service to others fills you with tremendous joy and satisfaction. If not, find a path of service that does. The final way I interpret Vesta is controversial, and you certainly don't have to work with it if it doesn't resonate for you. It's the practice of sex magic, using arousal and orgasm to energize your law of attraction manifestations. Yes, the Vestal virgins were sworn to celibacy, but their pre-patriarchal predecessors in other cultures, also represented by the Vesta archetype, were not. Societies that were less erotophobic and more connected to the earth openly celebrated the power of sexuality to enhance abundance of all kinds. If you're open to it, you can too. It's unusual to have a grand cross this powerful last so long. This gives you plenty of time to work with whatever flavors of this potent aspect pattern call to you. I want to mention that I offer Ease, a program with free weekly healing and awakening. Ease stands for the Embodied Awakening Support Experience. And these free weekly events can be accessed via phone or web to help you enjoy more harmony, grace, and flow, eliminate suffering, boost your intuition, experience more synchronicity, stop mental chatter and challenging emotions, live each day in a peaceful, awakened state, and enjoy support from kindred spirits on your journey, and even more. The online recording library, over 75 MP3s and constantly growing, lets you experience the life-transforming power of Ease anytime. To learn more, go to astroshaman.com. In my services menu bar, just click on that. Third item down is Ease. And you can learn more about that, and I kid you not, it's completely free. On Sunday, March 12th, March's full moon shines forth at 10:54 a.m. Eastern Daylight Time at 22 degrees 13 minutes Virgo. Any Virgo full moon is good for reflecting on how you're doing in the areas of service, health, and the efficiency of your systems and procedures. It's easy for the Virgo love of service to get distorted into victimhood. Be sure you're getting as good as you're giving. Ideally, this means that your acts of service are followed by a wonderful feeling of fulfillment and satisfaction. The getting can also include material compensation. Aspects: 3 planets are opposing the moon in this lunation in addition to the sun. The tightest opposition is from Pallas, who invites you to step more firmly into your feminine assertiveness. Can you use strategy and negotiation to achieve your ends instead of brute force? And can you achieve a win-win solution? Chiron is also in tight opposition to the moon. This can stimulate old psychological wounds, but only so that they can be healed once and for all. Many have found my free healing invocation and simple focus healing technique helpful in putting old emotional challenges to rest once and for all. To find my healing invocation, go to astroshaman.com. On a large screen device like a computer, you'll see a purple banner. In fact, you should be seeing it on the screen right now. It says Heal and Awaken Invocations. Click that or tap that. It'll take you to a page with 4 posts. The last one has a screaming man. That's the healing invocation post. And it thoroughly describes that. And right toward the end of that post, there's another link to the simple focus healing technique. And together, these two can be a really powerful package to help you clear out whatever is arising in you that's feeling challenging. The final opposition to the moon is from Mercury. This inquires whether your communication is as effective as it could be. A book I highly recommend for learning how to communicate better in stressful situations is Nonviolent Communication, 3rd edition by Marshall Rosenberg. Amazing book. The Sun, Pallas, Chiron, and Mercury are all in Pisces. This lets you more easily implement a Pisces-Virgo strategy that I have found extremely helpful. Get as much guidance as possible from your intuition, that's Pisces, then organize and implement it using your logic and rationality, that would be Virgo. T-Square. These Pisces planets and the Virgo moon all make squares to Saturn to form a T-square. So don't be surprised if your efforts to implement these suggestions initially meet resistance. To get past the hump, adopt the Saturnian virtues of discipline, maturity, persistence, and good time management. The moon and sun also form a mystic rectangle with Pluto and Vesta. You can use this flowing, magical aspect pattern to bring life-affirming transformation in service to a higher cause. You can explore sacred sexuality, in which the energy bodies of you and your partner blend to create mystical states of ecstasy. This aspect pattern also supports sex magic, which I talked about in my March 6th Grand Cross forecast. That Grand Cross, which includes Vesta, Jupiter, Uranus, and Pluto, is also part of this lunation. It's not the centerpiece, since the moon connects to these planets by soft or minor aspects. But its overall energy of revolutionary transformation, as well as the particular focuses contributed by Vesta and Jupiter, are very much in the game here. This full moon Sabian symbol is a lion tamer rushes fearlessly into the circus arena. On the spiritual level, the lion tamer represents you as an awakened being. You have overcome your fear by realizing your oneness with all things. It's hard to be scared of yourself. Your presence in the circus arena spotlight shows you demonstrating your accomplishment to the world. You do this not to gain personal glory, but to demonstrate to others that they can do it too. On Tuesday, March 14th, a cradle begins today featuring 3 asteroid goddesses, Vesta, Ceres, and Juno, and the 2 outermost planets, Neptune and Pluto. This cradle peaks on March 27th and ends on April 4th. During the 3 weeks this aspect pattern is in effect, look at your self-worth. Are you letting your view of yourself be shaped mostly by the opinions of those you're close to? Are you judging yourself based on the good works you're doing in the world? Or have you awakened enough to realize that you are 100% worthy of unconditional love simply because you exist? This cradle offers a strong and smooth container in which to heal old emotional wounds and also supports law of attraction work to enhance your material abundance. There's also plenty of flow and power to support service to a higher cause. Also, on March 14th, it's extremely rare that 3 planets are exactly conjunct, but that's what happens today with the Sun, Pallas, and Chiron. For 10 minutes, from 10:50 to 11 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time, all 3 planets are conjunct to the minute of arc at 24 degrees, 42 minutes Pisces. This triple conjunction's effects will also be felt for about a week coming and going. This combination supports taking the initiative to get healing assistance. With all 3 planets in Pisces, spiritual healing receives special support. It may also prove cathartic to give your creative inspiration uninhibited expression. Even if this isn't the optimal moment to move into a deep healing process, you can at least create a strategy for doing so as soon as possible. Mentoring is also strongly supported by this aspect pattern. This could have a spiritual or creative flavor, Pisces, or could focus on feminine assertiveness and practical creativity, Pallas. On Friday, March 17th, one of the strongest astrological events of 2017 reaches the second of 2 peaks today. This powerhouse Jupiter-Uranus-Pluto T-Square started on November 3rd of 2016, peaked on December 11th of 2016, peaks here again on March 17th of 2017, and ends on May 1st. That's a 6-month duration. What follows is a slightly edited version of my original forecast for this T-square. And in fact, this is sort of a rephrasing of something I've already said. At the most basic level, Jupiter is rekindling the power of the waning Uranus-Pluto Square. This amplifies the power of revolutionary transformation. Pluto in Capricorn kisses outmoded structures goodbye while supporting structures appropriate for the current moment. Uranus in Aries can bring these changes lightning fast. A prime example of these energies at play is Donald Trump unexpectedly being elected president, then kicking off the most chaotic presidency in modern U.S. history. With Republicans also controlling the House and Senate, this radically upsets the status quo established by the Obama administration. This appears likely to trigger extreme change, not just in the U.S., but throughout the world. This T-square is also fueling political chaos in the Middle East, the massive global refugee crisis, and increasingly extreme weather events fueled by climate change. On a more harmonious note, we now have amazingly helpful and intelligent mobile devices, an abundance of high-quality entertainment, and a rising tide of spiritual awakening sweeping the planet. Uranus-Pluto aspects bring out the extremes on both sides. On a personal level, this square can fuel the acceleration of your own life-affirming changes in all areas. Are you ready to be the real you, even if doing so disappoints others? Do you have the courage to follow your intuitive flashes, even if they lead you in scary or unexpected directions? Can you tolerate the extreme pleasure you'd experience by serving others with your greatest gifts that you most love to use? Those were Uranian possibilities. Pluto asks that you release everything that doesn't serve you, whether physical, relational, or conceptual, and that you transform like a caterpillar, morphing into a butterfly. The more you're willing to offer yourself as an intuitively guided instrument of divine service, the more powerful you'll become under the influence of this T-square. Let's look at this T-square's personal effects from the other direction. The influence of Uranus and Pluto on Jupiter can catalyze a quantum leap in how you relate to religion, philosophy, and the meaning of your life. You could connect with a life-transforming teacher or catalyze the growth of others by sharing your wisdom. And transformative experiences await you if you travel to foreign countries or expose yourself to the influence of other cultures. Jupiter is in Libra, the sign of relationship and creativity. How can you take these to the next level in your life? And all three planets are in cardinal signs, which support new beginnings. The winds of transformation are billowing your sails through May 1st. What ports of call are you choosing? And it ain't over till it's over. The Uranus-Pluto Square peaked 2012 through 2015 with 7 exact squares, but even as the square wanes, it will be powerful enough to keep the energy of revolutionary transformation cooking through the end of the decade. The prior major Uranus-Pluto event was their conjunction, which was exact 5 times 1964 to 1966, but the most revolutionary year of the 60s was 1968. History suggests that exact alignments often plant seeds, which then blossom in the years immediately following. In the same way, even with the Uranus-Pluto Square waning, its most powerful effects may be yet to come. In a world which so needs positive change, I consider this very hopeful news. The Uranus-Pluto Square also invites you to examine your own role in this epic unfolding drama. Will you be watching from the sidelines, or will you step up to do whatever you can, small or large, to create positive change in your life and in the world? On Monday, March 20th, the Sun enters Aries on March 20th here at 6:28 a.m. Eastern Daylight Time, marking the spring equinox. The Arian Sun radiates the energy of the warrior, pioneer, entrepreneur, and sexual being. Its motto is, "Just do it." This equinox contains 2 powerful planetary configurations that will be affecting the world for at least the next 3 months, a Grand Cross and a 5-planet square. Earlier in this video, I discussed the most powerful Grand Cross of 2017, the Vesta-Jupiter-Uranus-Pluto Grand Cross that peaked on March 6th and continues until April 20th. It's obviously still happening here on March 20th and continues to broadcast its energy of revolutionary transformation in the ways I described earlier. The spring equinox chart features the Moon and Saturn in Sagittarius, squaring Chiron and Vesta in Pisces, as well as the Aries Sun. That's that 5-planet T-square I mentioned. On both the global and personal levels, this could bring up a lot of old wounds for healing. To clear this old karmic baggage away, first, you must have the willingness to process it. Then you need an effective technique. If you need to work something through with other people, I once again recommend the field-tested conflict resolution strategies in Marshall Rosenberg's book, Nonviolent Communication, 3rd edition. To work through challenging emotions arising within yourself, once again, my healing invocation could help. This is an excellent time to step up as a wise elder, mentor, or healer if you're willing and able. Everything I've said about this spring equinox chart so far applies to the whole world. In the U.S. chart specifically, cast for Washington, D.C., Neptune is in the first house, tightly conjunct the Pisces ascendant. This could represent Donald Trump looking at the world through his own idiosyncratic perspective and seeing only what he wants to see. It could also represent the continuation of the dense fog of lies and confusion that has marked his presidency so far. Neptune conjunct a Pisces ascendant can also represent high-vibration spiritual energy being broadcast from the United States to the rest of the world. This is unlikely to make headlines, but I and many others are doing this to help harmonize the planetary energies and help make higher consciousness more easily available to everyone. Even if you're not marching in the streets, you can make a huge difference by the consciousness you routinely hold and the light and love you flow to others for their highest good. On Sunday, March 26th, the Vesta-Jupiter-Uranus-Pluto Grand Cross I've been talking about so much in this forecast gains fresh energy as Mercury snuggles up with Uranus in Aries. This enhanced Grand Cross starts today on March 20th, peaks on the 26th, and ends on the 30th. In addition to adding raw energy to the Grand Cross, Mercury can help you gain a deeper understanding of this aspect pattern's themes. It can also help you communicate them to others more effectively, if you're so inclined. Since I've already discussed these themes in depth in this forecast, I will not repeat them here. On Monday, March 27th, the March New Moon lines up at 10:57 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time at 7 degrees, 37 minutes Aries. Any Aries New Moon carries the same energies I mentioned when discussing the spring equinox, the entrepreneur, initiator, warrior, and sexual being. This new moon's strongest aspect is a conjunction to retrograde Venus. This energizes the contemplation of how you're doing with Venusian themes such as relationships, creativity, finances, and your values. As I mentioned in my Venus retrograde forecast earlier in this video, you'll probably enjoy better results if you wait until Venus is direct on April 15th before taking significant action in these areas, unless it's clearly important to do so. A loose conjunction to Pallas invites you to step more fully into your feminine assertiveness, practical creativity, and strategic planning. A loose square from Juno invites you to check in on your committed partnerships. The Sabian symbol for this lunation is a woman's hat with streamers blown by the east wind. This image has some subtle symbolism. The east is the direction of new beginnings, since it's where the sun rises each day. This assertive energy then acts upon the receptive elements, the woman's hat and its streamers. The direction of the East also resonates with Oriental religions, many of which teach relaxation into the divine flow. To me, this symbol suggests opening to the guidance of your inner wisdom. Just as the unresisting streamers form a beautiful display when moved by the east wind, let yourself be artfully moved by the divine intelligence within you. I have yet to find a more reliable guide. Also on March 27th, the Cradle featuring Ceres, Vesta, Juno, Neptune, and Pluto that started on March 14th will peak here on the 27th. It will end on April 4th. I want to mention that I offer through Astro Shaman Solar Fire 9 and have an unbeatable price on the world's #1 astrology software. Again, SolarFire is the world's leading astrology software for Windows, and by the way, a Mac running Windows and recent Windows tablets will also run it. SolarFire contains something for everyone. It's designed for both novice and expert astrologers and makes it easy to quickly produce high-quality charts. For advanced astrologers and professionals, SolarFire has a great variety of high-precision astrological calculations and an exceptional degree of user customization. For novices, SolarFire's innovative point-and-click chart interpretations provide an enjoyable way to learn. Its many easily explored options are an invitation to experiment with new techniques. And no one sells SolarFire for less than Astro Shaman. You can learn more about SolarFire by going to astroshaman.com. There's a products word on the menu bar. Just click it and you'll see SolarFire in the pull-down menu. On Tuesday, March 28th, take a moment to contemplate the ways in which you're able to facilitate life-affirming transformation, healing, and mentoring. You can focus all these abilities in service of a higher cause under a cradle that includes Mars, Ceres, Vesta, Chiron, and Pluto. It starts today here on March 28th, peaks on April 10th, and ends on April 20th. This flowing aspect pattern can also support sexual healing, shamanic practices, and law of attraction programs that support a greater good. On Wednesday, March 29th, any flavor of Aries energy you want to embody or broadcast is supported by a Sun-Jupiter-Pluto T-Square that starts today on March 29th, peaks on April 7th, and ends on April 16th. As previously mentioned here, this can include the energies of the warrior, pioneer, sexual being, and entrepreneur. More broadly, This T-Square can help you kickstart or bring renewed energy to anything you like. On Thursday, March 30th, we're now about halfway through a year-long square that can help you increase your abundance, empower your relationships, energize your political involvement, and much more. I'm talking about the Jupiter-Pluto Square that's exact today on March 30th. This aspect came into orb way back on October 2nd of 2016. It has 3 exact hits, November 24th, 2016, today on March 30th, 2017, and again on August 4th of 2017, before it will finally fade out on September 25th. This square can also fuel your forays into higher education, philosophy, religion, foreign travel, and imparting life-affirming wisdom to others. Not only that, it can support shadow work and any flavor of personal transformation you're called to do. Since my last video forecast, I have posted a major new article called Love Trumps Trump, using the president as a spiritual catalyst. I've also booked a March appearance on the Manifesting Life Purpose and Relationships Summit. To learn about this and more, go to the homepage of astroshaman.com and check out the What's New section. Thank you so much for watching. Please subscribe to my Benjamin Bernstein YouTube channel to be notified when I post new videos. And if you like this video, please share it. This free video forecast is a partner project with iTunes #1 Astrology audio podcast, This Week in Astrology. It's also free. You can get my twice-a-month astrology forecast in writing by subscribing to my free email newsletter at astroshaman.com. Once you're there, you can also link to my Facebook page where I post daily forecasts. My personal services include astrology, shamanic healing, and awakening activation. All are equally effective in person or long distance. My guarantee makes my services risk-free. If you don't feel that your experience was helpful, there's no charge. I also offer other great products and services, many of which are free. To learn more, visit astroshaman.com. Thanks again for watching. I wish you infinite blessings as the stars light your way.